Welcome back to Living with Classic, and a special treat today. There is a Jaguar connection with this, but I get to go along for a ride in this 1937 Lanchester. So that's going to be really fun. I'm going to pack everything in the car now, get away, and then on the road, get to experience a pre-selector gearbox. So this car has a 4-speed pre-selector gearbox. So we are in second right now, and if he then selects, later does, we're out here at the next gear, you hit what looks like a clutch pedal but is not a clutch pedal. It is an engagement pedal. So you select the gear that you want next. When you want the gear, you click or hit the selector pedal, and that then brings you, see, you click third, and now we are in third. So quite a different type of gearbox, but very, very interesting. It's a Daimler gearbox and a Daimler patent on it. Here we are, motoring along. Got some flowers here, and that wonderful hood emblem up front. And now we're going for top gear, and we're in top. Now we're really motoring up here. We're doing 35 miles an hour. About. Got the sunroof a little open here. It's very, very pleasant with the beautiful nature out here. Absolutely gorgeous. When we get to our location, we'll do a walk around of the car and show some of the various features of it and show the engine and all of that. But it's just very, very enjoyable to imagine driving a car that was made all those years ago, 1937. And you see I'm sitting here in very comfortable seats. It's actually the original leather. It's just been, like I said, stitched up maybe in a couple places. It's all original sitting here. And we have seats in the back as well. Suicide doors all around. Flowers up here. And it feels quite modern. It doesn't feel that different from much later cars. It's just, you know, it feels like you're sitting in an old armchair. It smells very nice. Just a little noisier, but other than that, it's absolutely wonderful. And all the small local roads up here. I mean, this island is not that big at all, and we're on all the smaller roads now. I think it's a perfect vehicle up here. You can't really go fast anywhere, anyways. So it works really, really well. So we've arrived here, and this is a look around the car. It's a great experience to ride here, but it got pretty warm in the car because you have this interesting transmission. It sits very far back, right here somewhere, so there's a lot of heat coming up from that. So it's sort of like an automatic transmission, how it's built up inside, but you manually control it with the pre-selector there. Otherwise, you have 4 different suicide doors. Open up there, and there's fantastic. If you follow my channel, you know how much I love original interiors, and this is leather from 1937. It's fantastic. And in the brochure, one of the selling points of the car is 3 telescopic ashtrays. There's one there, and one up front there. You have this wonderful sunroof. It goes all the way back here. And just like modern sunroofs, it's of course not completely weatherproof, so you have drains here and in the front. Very interesting. And you have a gutter, so it shouldn't go in the car. And then back here, you have spare wheel and cover and Lanchester. If you notice, there's no boot. And that is because you have a literal, like a trunk that's supposed to sit back here. And you undo these little wing nuts here. And this whole folds out into a rack, and it can hold that trunk. The owner has fitted modern blinkers and everything so that people can see him. It does have trafficators that come out here on the sides, and they do work, but like you said, no one that drives nowadays knows what they are, so it's a lot better to have the blinks down there. It has 4-wheel brakes. They're manual. Earlier cars actually had hydraulic brakes, but this one has went back to manual brakes. And wind down windows and pretty modern dashboard that we can have a look at. It's nice gauges. The whole roof is very, very soft and nice. We have the L back there. And then we have the parking brake there, which acts over there on the transmission. And just turned the car off, so the temperature went up a little bit to about 180-ish or 190. And you have your petrol gauge, amps, water, and a little clock. Let me see if I can see. And speedometer. And then you have your advance and retard for your ignition, and just ignition switch, and the lights, and the third ashtray. Here's that wonderful pre-selected gearbox, which is very interesting. I love any car that has some sort of interesting technological feature, and pre-selected gearboxes are just very, very fascinating. I'm going to ask the owner to open up here so we can have a look at the engine. But one thing, when I looked around the car earlier, is you have a starting handle, and it's hidden behind here. Spring-loaded little door. You can put in your starting handle in case you need to crank it over by hand. So it opens up with these two locks here, which are quite fascinating, one at each side. So they also unlock the side panels, so you can remove those for more access. And down here you have a fairly modern engine for the time. It is a 4-cylinder overhead valve, and what I love is this plaque here. Many engines have plaques on it with firing order and maybe tappet clearance, but I've never seen an engine where it actually shows you pictures of every single valve and the springs and everything. I mean, that's fascinating. It's 1.5 liter. I'm unsure about the horsepower rating. And then you have a little Solex side draft carburetor over there. And interestingly enough, this car did not come with a fan. That was an optional extra to have a cooling fan. The owner has just put an electric fan in there many years ago because it needs it when it's warm outside. But originally, this did not have a fan. So you see the pulley down there. You have the possibility to have a fan, but yeah. Distributor over here, fuel pump there, and an actual oil filter down there, which not every engine at this time had an oil filter. And you have the dynamo there, and that's actually chain driven inside there, so no belts or anything. Very interesting. Up here under there is just a compartment to keep tools, and you have the jack and all that. There is the starting handle, and there is the wiper motor. One thing that can also be done is the wipers can be pulled out and moved to the side under here. You can open up the windscreen like you could on many cars this time, get flow through ventilation, sort of air conditioning of the time. And one thing I forgot to mention, it is built by Mulliner, so you have the plaque there, the coach builder. So they are the ones that built it down there in Birmingham. And just look at these. The locks have come a long way. This just looks like a regular house lock, but closes very nicely. And that is really it. A very interesting car that you hardly ever see, with a very fascinating connection to Jaguar cars. Well, I told you I was going to bring you guys something really different, and I think this really does fit the bill. First pre-war car on the channel. My first time riding in a pre-war car. It's been a dream of mine for that, and also a dream of mine to sometime own a pre-war car. I think they're fascinating. I love the noises they make and the looks and everything, and I like the slow sort of motoring. We're doing 50 kilometers an hour all the way back here, and it's just very nice and relaxing. But anyways, if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.